as members of one human family. And this is about unity, and where we have a shared longing for peace, dignity, compassion, and coexistence. Wherever you're joining us from today, we thank you for making the decision to be part of this meaningful conversation. And I must tell you that peace, after all, is not built only in conference halls, treaties, or institutions. What I should tell you today is that peace begins in ordinary spaces in our daily lives, in the words we choose, in how we treat one another, and in how we respond to the differences, and in our willingness to protect the humanity of others. And today's dialogue invites us to reflect especially deeply on those responsibilities. My name is Rosalind Oba, and I'm the Public Relations Executive of the Global Peace Let's Talk, and I'm humbled to serve as your moderator and facilitator for today's gathering. And before I proceed, I would like to actually respectfully acknowledge the presence of all distinguished guests, peace practitioners, scholars, students, activists, community leaders, and members of the civil society. And of course, I do not forget global citizens who have joined us in this particular event. Remember, your presence speaks to a collective commitment to building bridges in a world that often rewards division. To our speakers, thank you for lending your wisdom, your lived experiences, and of course, your expertise to make sure that this gathering of today is very enriching and productive. To every participant, remember, as you contribute today, your voice matters, your presence matters, and your commitment to peace matters. We are going to move straight away. It's just less than 1 hour or a 1 hour event. And I will just go straight away to let you know that we have two experts in the house who are going to serve as guest speakers. And I'm right on to introduce the first speaker of the day. It is now my privilege to introduce our first distinguished speaker, dear ladies and gentlemen. He is none else than a household name in the Global Peace Let's Talk, Dr. Mugisho Ndabuli. And it's very, very important for us to get to know who he is, especially for those of us who are joining for our very first time. Dr. Mugisho is a Congolese scholar, researcher, lecturer, and an advocate for sustainable peace and empowerment. He holds a PhD in gender studies and a master's degree in conflict resolution and education. Across several African universities, he has contributed immensely to scholarship and research, particularly around gender, peace building, social identity, and sustainable empowerment. He serves on international boards, including Global Peace Let's Talk, with a special focus on women's and children's empowerment. Dr. Ndabuli is also the founder and executive director of COFAPRI, a grassroots organization that is working tirelessly to empower rural women and children in the Democratic Republic of Congo through education and income generating activities. He is also a prolific writer and poet. He has authored books, academic publications, and over 100 poems to his credit that reflects profound insight into humanity, justice, and of course, resilience and peace. Today, Dr. Ndabuli will be speaking on the topic peace as a daily choice for Congolese. It's good that he is going to give us a lived in experience and share us some little tips about how peace is lived in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mugisho. The floor is yours, Doctor. Can we have Dr. Mugisho? If our technicians are there, can you unmute him so he can be able to have his presentation go through? Dr. Mugisho, if you are ready, please, the floor is yours.
Please open your mic, please.
Can you hear us, Dr. Mugisho? You can be able to unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself and speak to us tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning. Mr. Norman Zaki will help us to share his slides, please. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rose, for inviting me to speak on this great day today. And thank you, Dr. Nikki, for having organized this platform, creating GPLT. Thank you, everybody present here. As Rose has introduced me, I'm a Congolese, come from DRC. I'm a GPLT executive focusing on children and women grassroots, and founder and executive director of DRC-based COFAPRI. Good. So welcome everybody. We're going to share ideas about the theme, peace as a daily choice for Congolese. So what I have to talk about before is, second slide, please. Okay, so we have to understand the core message of this day, the core message of the theme we have today. It is good to understand that for people to live together in peace must involve some practical efforts. This is about rebuilding trust, sharing resources fairly, and ensuring that ordinary people, not just the elites, shape the future of their country. So in the context of DRC, what is happening? Next slide then. So in the context of the DRC, we have to look at community dialogue and reconciliation. So before I come to this point, all of you know through the media or those who have visited the DRC, you will understand that the DRC has been in imposed war since 1996 until today. So that war has been ravaging a lot of things, has killed a lot of people. The environment has also been destroyed. But what can make DRC to revive? What can make DRC to feel that peace is prevailing everywhere, among the people and in the environment as well? There must be a community dialogue. There must be reconciliation. So when there is war, the case of the DRC, Congolese should sit. Some groups are doing so, although it is not at a big scale, but they're trying to do this. So they try to sit and discuss about the issues, discuss about the challenges, discuss about the effect of the war on the people and the environment. And then this dialogue probably can lead to reconciliation. Why dialogue and reconciliation? We need dialogue and reconciliation because we want to rebuild confidence. We want to trust each other as community. So this means that there are local forums that are very important for ethnic groups and displaced families to share experiences and acknowledge past harms together. In DRC, you will know that there are more than 450 communities, and all these communities must work together as one nation. But how can they do this? It is by rebuilding trust. I'm talking about rebuilding because before there was trust, this trust has been broken because of war. When there is war, some ethnicities are attacking others, then this makes people to lose trust. We have to rebuild this trust. Now, how is it done? So it can be done through open forums, safe spaces for dialogues. We have communities where people on a weekly basis, they sit, some sit under big trees. These are not natural trees that are like baobabs or other local trees, under which people sit and discuss issues in their families. So we also have mediation. So this can involve traditional leaders, local leaders. They know what is going on in the community. They know the problems that are there due to war. And when they sit together, those traditional leaders, they have a strong role. They have an important role to bring people together. We also need commitment toward coexistence, toward living together. I said earlier that the DRC has got more than 450 tribes, and those tribes must commit to live together. Next slide. So we have to look at inclusive government and justice. What does this mean? It means representation, it means accountability, it means local trust. What is representation? This means that the government represents all the areas, all the provinces, all the communities in the country. And this means that there must be, the government must be represent all the people fairly in order to combat regional marginalization and even discrimination. Then if we move to accountability, what does this mean? It means that we have to ensure transparency and holding perpetrators of war crimes responsible. Unfortunately, what's happening in the DRC, most of the perpetrators are great leaders and they are untouchable. Nobody can touch them. The justice is protecting them, unfortunately. Now, what is local trust? Local trust means we look at ways we can strengthen local justice so that the victims see tangible results in their communities. People who suffer the atrocities of war, they cannot feel happy, they cannot feel at ease if those who have been abusing them are not taken to justice, are not brought to justice. So justice should be applicable. Unfortunately, the justice in the DRC is sick, is limiting, is broken. It is supported and it goes to those who have means. Those who have no means have no justice in the DRC. So we have to look at the context of justice for peace. What does it mean, justice for peace, if we want to talk about living together in peace? This means simply we need to integrate peace educational, we have to integrate, peace education into the curriculum. So this can help to defeat hatred because it can prepare young people to a different future. This future where all communities live in harmony, listen to one another, and support one another. So this can only be successful if there is respect, teaching diversity in school. We must have schools where we have girls and boys and other genders. We must have schools where we have all communities mixed, not schools for X tribe, schools for X tribe, churches for X tribe. No, everybody should be united. Everybody should be done as a unit. So we can also, after respect, we look at resolution. This means people at different levels should understand that violence cannot produce peace. We have to go non-violent in order to produce positive peace. So we have to go tolerant. To go tolerant means we should bury down hatred. We shouldn't be hatred each other because all of us are human beings and we have to live in harmony. Next slide. So living together in peace also means economic cooperation. What does this mean? We must look at development aspects. Development aspect means fair distribution of wealth from natural resources reduces resentment and community competition. This will be effective if we consider revenue. Revenue means local communities can benefit directly of the wealth. We also have to look at projects. Projects that mean cross-ethnic joint ventures. These projects should be focusing on all communities, on all ethnicities, ethnicities, and all genders without any discrimination. We should also look at prosperity. Prosperity should be the dream of everybody, because if resources are well distributed among the communities, then there can be economic stability. And when there is economic stability, then we can say that resources are driving that stability, and which can lead to prosperity. Next slide. Grassroots solidarity. Solidarity is very important when we are looking at peace in the context of living together. DRC has got a lot of communities, and these communities should work as one group. And this is what I'm calling solidarity here. So all the people should be considering how they can join efforts, how they can join brains, how they can join arms, so that everything can be done as one team, having one goal. So empowering local women's associations and youth groups to drive peace from the ground up. This means we are rebuilding. What are we rebuilding? We can rebuilding schools. And when we rebuild the school, this comes to the education I was speaking about earlier. We have to look at farming, community-based agriculture. Everybody should be involved. Men, women, all genders, everybody, even the leaders. This can help to produce more, and this can also be an aspect of grassroots solidarity. This farming is very common in DRC villages, where you see people of a village, men and women and children, on a weekly basis, they choose a day where they can go and farm together. And this farming is not only a way of seeking peace, but also a way of sharing about culture, about traditions. It's a kind of school. So we have to look at unity as well. Unity will convey how people are living together, kind of social cohesion. Social cohesion also reflects solidarity. When people are united, nothing can be impossible. They can farm together, they can do business together, they can do every activity together, which is solidarity, and this solidarity can strengthen social cohesion. Next slide. Okay, it's already there. Then as Rosie introduced me, she said that I'm founder and executive director of COFAPRI. Actually, COFAPRI is working hand in hand with GPLT in order to foster some factors that can boost people to live together. So in the picture you see in this slide, these are women who have been benefiting of education, basic education, like literacy, numeracy. Yes, those are key. We look at those two factors in order to equip the women with these skills so that they can do well the other activities they are doing. For example, a woman who is sewing needs to take measurements of the people for whom they will sew clothes. And this is one of these aspects. So empowering women and girls, this is also an aspect of peace. So we bring women and girls together. This is social cohesion as well. So empowering women and girls, this means we can support, and this is what COFAPRI and GPLT are doing, supporting people in order to reach peace at grassroots level, which means there must be grassroots initiatives that provide tangible life improvements. The activities include vocational skills like sewing and tailoring, independence. We have livelihoods, animal rearing and farming, education, literacy and girls' school support, psychological trauma healing for survivors. We are talking about peace. and we are talking about DRC. When we hear DRC, we understand that people need jobs. This is vocational skills. People need food. This is livelihoods. For example, they farm, and when they are farming, they will harvest. When they harvest, this is very positive for their health. We have education where they can learn ways of addressing peace. They can learn new skills. They can learn a lot of things that can boost their cohesion, which can boost skills about peace. Psychosocial trauma healing survivors. This is quite easy to understand in a country that has been ravaged by war. We need people to be healed. People have suffered a lot. People have left their houses. People have lost their people in their families. So this aspect of psychosocial, which is trauma healing for survivors, is another aspect where peace can be promoted. And when peace is promoted, people can live together peacefully in harmony, and social cohesion can be boosted. So, good. So I collected some information from the links we have there, which I connect with some realities of the DRC. And dear members present here, thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation.
Wow, thank you so much, dear Dr. Ndabuli. This is actually really mind-blowing. Please, can we give him some flowers in the chat room? Can we give him some flowers and some feedback so that he can be able to be sure that whatever has been passed across has actually gone to actually share best practices on what is happening in Democratic Republic of Congo. And I must say this, in terms of your presentation, Dr. Mugisho, we say we are deeply moved, and intellectually you've actually gave us something that is real life experience. And for me, your reflection reminds us that peace is not just passive, it is supposed to be intentional, it is courageous, and most importantly, it is deeply personal. And you have challenged us to understand that peace is not simply the absence of violence, but the presence of justice, dignity, empathy, and everyday human responsibility. And for me, your words also illuminate the extraordinary resilience of the Congolese people, a resilience that continues to show hope even amidst adversity. Particularly powerful was the reminder that sustainable peace begins at the grassroots level, in families, in communities, and of course, classrooms, and in the empowerment of women and children. Thank you for helping us to see peace not merely as an aspiration, but as a daily discipline of humanity. We are so blessed to have listened to you today on this occasion of the International Day of Living Together in Peace. Straight away, ladies and gentlemen, as Dr. Mugisho warms his seat, we now move to our second distinguished speaker, Dr. Sela Kingoro. Dr. Sela is a Rotary Peace Fellow from Kenya and currently serves as a postdoctoral fellow at the State University of New York, Binghamton. She previously served as the Senior Gender Advisor at the British Peace Support Team Africa, where she played a critical role in strengthening the capacity of troop and police, contributing countries to deploy quality military and police personnel to United Nations and African Union peace operations. Her work has significantly contributed to reconciliation processes among communities across East, Central, and West Africa. Additionally, she has served for 12 years in public service as the head of research and policy at Kenya's National Cohesion and Integration Commission, where she helped shape conversations and strategies around national unity, cohesion, and peace building. She is one of the immediate past regional coordinators of the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association in Africa. Today, Dr. Sela will address a timely and thought-provoking topic. And this is the topic for you all: Africa against itself, why enemy making is rising and how we can rise above it. I take it again: Africa against itself, why enemy making is rising and how we can rise above it. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sela. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Rosalind. Can you hear me?
We can hear you 5 on 5, Doctor.
All right. I am very grateful for getting an opportunity to be with you today and to speak with distinguished participants about this topic that you have mentioned. Please bear with me. I'll not put on my camera for now, just so the bandwidth can help me reach you better. So as Rosalind has said, my name is Sela. I come from Kenya. And I would like at this moment to reflect upon this topic on what's happening on the African continent currently. So Africa is the cradle of humanity, and it has indeed a lot of resilience, as Dr. Mogisha has just shared with us. And when we talk about resilience, we mean that the continent has undergone a lot of hard experiences, including conflict, suffering from humanitarian crisis, and many other experiences. But the African people have risen above all this hardship, and they continue to show and exhibit the spirit of love and indeed living together in peace, as this day is helping us remember. Nevertheless, we are currently experiencing an increase in what I would term Afrophobia, looking at what is currently ongoing in South Africa, for example, where South Africans are rising against other Africans or people from other African countries living in South Africa, and there is some form of xenophobia, which of course leads to violence in that regard. Now, we popularly have been hearing about South Africa just because South Africa is one of our biggest engines in Africa. However, this phenomenon is not new. We have experienced the same in other countries, like Ghana, where we had tension between Ghanaians and Nigerian traders. We have seen the same in Tunisia with the anti-Black sentiment way back in 2019. We have seen the same. Dr. Mugisha can actually share with us about what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we have seen, xenophobia against people who are Kinyarwanda speaking. We have seen the same in Uganda against South Sudanese refugees, in Kenya, and I could go on and on and on. And the question I asked myself was, why do we have instances where people rise up against fellow Africans in their own countries? So one thing that I reflected upon, which I thought was important to share with us, is the form of narratives, or basically where narrations are made to make other people believe things about the other group. So narrative making. Now, in this case, for example, narratives of Africans against fellow Africans, I asked myself, who makes the narrative and what is that narrative? How does that narrative then influence the thinking and the actions of fellow Africans? Now, the first thing I thought about was what we have been taught as Africans over the years, rising from colonial times, where the Berlin Conference of 1884 drew boundaries in the continent without taking regard of who is living where, the kinship, for example, and the people in the different parts of the world. Now, that made us think that our neighbors, people who come from across the border that was drawn during the Berlin Conference, are actually strangers. For instance, today, if I were to visit other countries on the African continent as a Kenyan, I need visas to about 25 countries. But if someone from the UK, a British person, were to visit Africa, they would need visas to only about 9 countries. And so you can see that there is distance between Africans, even if we are living proximately, in terms of location, but in terms of being one, seeing ourselves as one, we are a little further apart. The next narrative that has been taught over the years is the fact that Africans are competitors. No, we don't. The way we look at ourselves as competitors instead of seeing ourselves as brothers. Now, as competitors, we are looking at how we share, jobs. For instance, when we move to a different country, we are competing for neighborhoods, housing, and so on and so forth. So we are closer together as Africans and far apart as other people, tourists who will come into the country. They will not be seeking for the jobs that, fellow Africans will also be looking out to do. But all these narratives, who is peddling them, or to whose advantage are these narratives peddled? Now, the biggest responsibility here lies with politicians who need a distraction when politics or their policies are not working, when we don't have good roads, when we don't have good hospitals. Instead of citizens holding their politicians to account, the politicians try to distract that form of accountability by pointing to the other as the cause of the problem. So the refugee, in this case, is the problem instead of the accountability of, political power. Besides that, we also see still international community contributing, especially when it comes to big conflicts like what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. You see the hand of international power play as the local people continue to conflict. The people who are reaping the benefits of that conflict, whom we call conflict entrepreneurs, are actually the outside world. So what am I therefore driving at? The very urgent mission that we should have as Africans is to build a world where we can all live together in peace. And one of the ways we can do this is to remind ourselves of the Pan-African mission, that we are stronger together as Africans instead of being apart. This form of solidarity will help us actually to break down the barriers that have been built by histories, whether by politicians or the media that peddles the same narratives, or the education system that has entrenched narratives that were, built up by earlier generations. We can work at deconstructing these walls and being one solid power as Africa, working together towards a greater goal. Now, we can only do this, as I have said, by deconstructing those narratives. So we need to work at looking at a narrative, critiquing it, asking ourselves the very difficult questions like, why are we treating neighbors in a manner that we don't want to be treated ourselves? What can we benefit by joining our hands instead of fighting? Who is actually benefiting from the fighting that is taking place? And eventually, how best can we rise above this? Can we have our education system remind us just how similar we are, as Africans? Can we learn the African philosophy of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are? Can we go back to rewriting our history, where we see the Ghanaian President Kwame Nkrumah, for instance, after gaining independence, looking back to helping other African countries to also gain independence, and therefore being together as Africans, looking out for each other's welfare as opposed to fighting one another. So at this point in time, I just wanted to welcome the Africans in the room to expand our minds around how do we embrace each other? Can we go back to the roots of Pan-Africanism? And also the friends of Africa who are in the room to help us rethink through the narratives that may also be a characteristic of your own, society. Help us to understand that these narratives are constructed by individuals or groups with a specific purpose in mind, which purpose does not help the entire society, but only benefits a few among the society. And so with all that, I want to stop there. I will be happy to answer any specific questions, but my main message was narratives have been peddled by a few people who are benefiting from them, but as a society, we need to come together and deconstruct them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sela, for that profound, courageous, and necessary and worthy presentation, I should put it that way. And your insights compelled us to confront one of the greatest things of our time, the normalization of division, suspicion, and enemy making within our societies. And you have reminded us that conflict is often sustained not merely by politics or systems, but by narratives, the stories we tell ourselves about us and about them. And yet, with that challenge, You have also offered us hope. Hope that Africa can rise above inherited divisions. Hope that empathy can overcome fear. Hope that dialogue can defeat polarization. And hope that ordinary citizens can possess that power to interrupt cycles of hatred through intentional acts of understanding and solidarity. And your message through this presentation is both warming and, of course, a call to action. And I will say that it is urging us not to just become spectators in the erosion of our shared humanity. And I like the statement you used, which is an African Palansui says, Ubuntu, I am because you are, and you are because I am, and that is how it should be. And thank you for that exceptional presentation. And we want to be very grateful that our speakers have been able to give us different dimensions that are really realistic in our different setups, whether in Africa or in the Western world. We will quickly transition into an interactive session of reflections just for like 5 minutes. And if you have any questions or any contributions, please, this is the opportunity for you to share your brief reflection or direct questions to our esteemed speakers. And as we engage, may we continue in the same spirit of respect and openness, and of course, thoughtful dialogue that has defined our conversation today. So if you have any contributions, please kindly just raise your hand and you'll be given the opportunity to speak. And from Patrick, he says, selfishness is killing Africa. We have to learn human rights and respect it for each other. And of course, we have Bukat who says, I never forget the statement of Dr. Asfar Wilson, great nephew of the Ethiopian Imperial Haile Selassie, when I have had the chance talking to him quite a long time, some months ago, he's stating that even when Pan-Africanism seems to get new, fresh blood, it same time became more fanatic. Reality is that there are 1,001 reasons why it cannot work in the current structures and systems. More real is to face hundreds of military conflicts in the continent, and at the results there will be not 54 countries, but 250, and lot with their blood about this result, what nobody needs. And of course, he said what Sheila right now is stating about the visa question as one example is proving the Pan-African idea is more a philosophy than a reality. Some Pan-Africanists become very racist. I have realized in a lot of Zoom meetings where African questions are discussed. Maybe Dr. Stella, you can give a comment on this.
About Africans being racist? Oh, okay. Indeed, being, I don't know how best to put this. Let me do this. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you better. I don't know,
perfect.
maybe if Bukat can quickly just say what he actually means
Yes.
by just using the microphone, that will be fine. So Joseph, if you can unmute Bukat just to say in 30 seconds what he means, that will be fine. All right, Bukat, 1 minute, please.
No, it
You
works.
just have, yeah, thank you.
So it of course, to do this in 1 minute or 30 seconds, does not make sense. But we cannot discuss this at the end. So the most racist country in the world is Somalia. And the complete disaster of the failed state of Somalia in the last 30 years, it is called Kabil in Somali language. And there are a lot of intellectual Somalis living in Europe, but of course also in Somalia. They say, why we are sliding permanently in this structures? And this you have in a lot of African countries. not so ugly as it was in Somalia. But how to do so? To go out of this? I don't know. This needs generations. These are long hundreds of years of traditional thinking. How to change this? I don't want to be negative. I want to be realistic.
Thank you, Bukat. Can we just hear from Dr. Sela, please? Or maybe Dr. Sela, I will just read some questions and then or some contributions, then you just wrap it up because we just have like 5 minutes to the end. And we have this contribution from Glory, who says, on this International Day of Living Together in Peace, we are reminded that peace begins with each one of us. And of course, despite our differences in culture, language, opinions, or background, we share the same humanity and the same desire for a better world. Living together in peace means promoting tolerance, respect, dialogue, forgiveness, and social cohesion in our communities. It is a call to reject hatred, violence, and division, and instead build bridges of understanding and solidarity. Thank you so very much. And this question goes to Dr. Sela as well. Africa is blessed with diverse tribes and ethnic groups. Has this contributed to divisions and conflicts in Africa? How can this diversity be turned to strength? So, Dr. Sela, if you can give us responses to these two questions, then we will be inviting Dr. Nikki to close the ceremony. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for the earlier question about racism. In fact, the other questions have also built on the answer I had in mind, which was, most of Africa really does not think in the context of racism. Most of Africa operates on the context of discrimination, which is basically a division between ethnic groups. So, for example, you did mention, one of the speakers did mention Somalia, and Somalia's intolerance is based on clanism. In fact, Somalia is one country which has people belonging to the same community, same religion, as in most of them are Somali, most of them are Muslim, but there is still high levels of intolerance based on the very small grouping that are called clans. Now, to say that Somali is like the most racist country is neither here nor there. There are few indices that have been done worldwide that may not necessarily support this claim.
Hello, Rosalind. Rosalind, we have to close the meeting. Rosalind.
Hello, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but because we're having another event in 3 minutes, I think it's just but important for you. Just give us in 30 seconds your take-home message to every one of us.
So my take-home message is this. We are all one humanity, regardless of our ethnicity, our race, our color. We are all born from one cradle. And so living together in peace will require us to go back to this fundamental truth that we are all of one humanity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Can we hear from Dr. Mugisho in 30 seconds or less to your take-home message? If not, we would like to call on Dr. Nikki, the CEO and founder of the Global Peace Let's Talk. In just 1 minute, can you close us with a vote of thanks?
Okay, thank you, Rosalind. I hope you can all hear me. There's something
We can hear you.
wrong.
You have two devices that are actually switched on. That's why it's having the echo. So in 1 minute, please, can you just close us, Dr. Nikki?
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. It was a very interesting discussion. And we're going to do a follow-up on the WhatsApp group because a lot of our members are here today. So I don't think we should leave it. Let's continue talking about it in our members' WhatsApp group. So thank you so much, everyone. Unfortunately, we've got another Zoom, so we have to close this one. But Rosalind, thank you so much. It's been an awesome session, and I'm sure everybody has enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikki. And I end with the words of Christopher, who says, let's embrace Ubuntu principles among the youth and children. Hence, that can actually help us to live together in peace. So it's a happy International Day of living together in peace from me to you all. And I wish to thank every one of you that has sacrificed this time to be with us. And from me to you, it's a goodbye from our end. And hopefully we are going to continue this conversation in the days ahead. And we want to give a special shout out to our esteemed guest speakers for today. Thank you very much, everyone. And if you can switch your video camera on, our technicians will definitely have some video shots of us as we exit the room. So kindly switch on your video cameras. And of course, you can take your leave after saying hello. Host, please, can you unmute everyone to say a goodbye to everyone? Thank you. Can we activate our cameras, please? That will do us some honor. Thank you, Boka. Thank you, Dr. Sela. And everyone, please, if you can activate your camera. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. If Joseph, Norman, you've taken some pictures, then we are all free to exit the room. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Goodbye.